We will take leave of the meeting for the purposes of the budget presentation. Mr. Messeri, you have 15 minutes.
Thank you. For those of you that have scanned through the omnibus article, Article 14, in the white mailer and the yellow sheet this evening, you see a lot of numbers, and the presentation I'm going to make is to try to take you through the process to which arrived at this set of numbers and to explain what was removed from the budget, what the override items are, what's being restored in the override budget. So please bear with me. Back in January, the beginning of January, the budget process starts in October when a revenue estimate is initially made, and the revenue estimate usually starts off with some conservative numbers. There are a lot of unknowns at that point in time. I want to point out that this is the current budget. Okay, so the school budget that we're operating under this year, ending in June 30th, is $20,701,242. That's exclusive of revolving funds and fees the school collects. The town budget is $11,005,000, and our fixed costs, there's three elements of our budget. The fixed costs are our employee health benefits, our retirement benefits, and our non-exempt debt service. So as you can see, the estimated revenues and the budget gap is zero. So we went through the same process for this year, and the school department was asked to provide a status quo budget. And their status quo budget was approximately a 5.5% increase over last year. No changes, and that was $20,886,640. It's this figure right here. The town budget was, again, same question. It came in at about 3.5% at $12,047,743, and the fixed cost estimate first pass was $13,714,000, and our estimated revenues were $46,518,285, which left a deficit of $130,835. And this is the beginning of the process. Come January, how do we close this gap? What do? We work very closely with the school department, finance committee, town administrator, town finance director, school business manager, and school superintendent to see what we could do about closing this gap. The first adjustment that was made was the town administrator reduced the town budget by $184,249, bringing it down to about a 3% increase, which left the gap of $946,536. I'm going to skip over that. This is a list of what he cut, and if we need to go back to it, I will. Retirement benefits. To close the gap, the first thing was that we got some good news from the school department that the number of retirees that they had originally estimated was going to be fewer, and that saved $75,000. Those that attended October town meeting recall that we took the Berry money and we put it into a debt stabilization fund aimed at capping our exempt debt. We have decided to take and lower that cap by $150,000. This would allow additional revenue to flow into the budget gap. The town administrator reduced police, fire, and DPW across the board evenly for $39,407. The sanitation and waste, although there is a fee that you pay for the tipping fee for disposal of our waste, the cost of running the trucks through town has been borne in the town budget. So the board in this proposal is removing that from the town budget and making it to be fee-based. And so we would be increasing the trash fees from $45 a month to a figure somewhere between $60 and $70 a month. Am I correct, Mr. Hanlon? Just a quarter, rather. I'm sorry. We also took one position from the recreation department out of the town budget, and we moved it to the revolving fund. That's one of the reasons why this evening we were asked to increase the size of the revolving fund. We have looked at and come back with adopting a new BLS fee structure for our ambulance, which will increase the number of fees that we collect by $100,000. You may recall a number of years ago, the board approved, and then town meeting approved the establishment of a cell tower on the Swan Pond water tank, and we now have found somebody that wants to go forward with it, and that will bring in another $21,600 in revenue, which we hadn't counted in our original revenue estimate. And then we have some residual health insurance money that's tied in with Medicaid, and that was $53,653, and that got us to $708,975, the first step toward closing just the balanced budget gap. So the gap was $946,586. On 3/3, the board voted the $708,975. The school committee agreed to increase athletic fees to the tune of $35,000, therefore reducing their budget need by that amount. The vocational school estimate that we had originally in our plan, we reduced by $31,535 after getting an estimated figure from them. And then we had some money in a septic loan account due in the general fund, and we found that money and we could use that for the budget too. And then, thanks to our Representative Mr. Jones and Senator Tarr both sitting here, and I think we owe them a debt of gratitude for their efforts. I can't say enough for these two gentlemen. They have been behind us 100%. And some of that will be revealed as I go forward with this budget. Anyway, as a result of efforts, the lottery money, which was cut in the governor's budget, predicated on the casino bill passing, being restored, the legislature has restored that money to last year's number, and that came up with an additional $167,882 in our helping to close the gap. When you put all this together, we ended up closing the status quo budget and having about $23,699 left. So we then started to work on the school department's Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3 priorities. And this has happened over the past 6 weeks. This is not the triangle pyramid that the school superintendent had in the paper, but the numbers are exactly the same. Priority 1 requiring $373,708, and then priority 2, $308,718, and priority 3, $188,485. And this is what we've done. We took the status quo budget gap excess of $23,699. We removed from the town budget our small capital of $85,200. Items in here include a number of things, including a police cruiser, copy machines, things like that. And our plan is to fund that at our October town meeting out of anticipated free cash. Similarly, we took $120,000 from the school budget for small cap, and we broke it up in the following way. You already have passed $70,000 worth of that cut, which was for new adoptions of textbooks, and we did that at the special town meeting. We took the $70,000 from free cash. The balance, $50,000, we will take in October to fund various pieces of small capital for the school, including copy machines, etc. And the school department was, in fact, in support of this change. And then the health insurance, and there's been a lot of noise about this and a lot of press. We originally estimated it at 15%, and then we got word before we got a final figure that we could probably be a little more optimistic, and we reduced the increase to 12%, and that yielded, based on the estimates that we were making at the time, $147,000 of additional money. Now, we also, in order to fund the school budget, their increase, as you look at phase one, and I'll go back there for a second, they were looking for 7.5 full-time employees, and the 373 covers their salary but does not cover their benefits. So the board had to come up with an additional $83,000 to cover the benefits to close on priority one. And we did this as follows. We looked at a number of different items. We looked at recreation, moving $100,000 from recreation into their revolving fund, which would have increased fees even beyond what they reported this evening. And in the end, the board voted on the 12th of March to make that number $25,000. We took a position in the treasurer's office, which is vacant currently, hadn't been filled yet, and due to a promotion of one of the women in the collections office to become our collector, treasurer. And then we took $33,000 from a DPW position that currently was vacant, and that yielded the $83,000 that we needed to get to a balanced budget that covered phase one. None of the decisions that the board made were easy decisions. I think that the general approach here was that we had let our school children down last year. We didn't pass an override, and we didn't provide additional funding, and we basically were on the track of devastating our school system. So the priorities of the board yielded these changes. Not easy changes, and not general agreement across the board either, but something that had to be done. Then, competition is wonderful. I think a lot of you can recall what happened when Verizon came in and started offering Fios and cable TV. All of a sudden there's some competition and we've got reduced rates. Well, the legislature has authorized the local communities to join the GIC program, which is the state insurance program. And although it's subject to union negotiations, the result of it was that our current insurance provider, instead of giving us a 12% increase, which we wouldn't have been too shocked over, came in with 2.5% increase. The direct result of competition. They want to maintain their local communities' insurance policies. And as a result, we saved another $377,810. Now, because the increase was less than what we were using, we had to make some adjustments in the benefits for the priority one. It's minor adjustments. So what we have here is $384,281 of additional money after funding phase one, with the adjustments to priority one for benefits. And the board voted on March 20th to restore the $25,000 for the position in the treasurer's office, to restore the $25,000 cut to recreation, and to fund priority two of the school budget to the tune of $334,281. It's about $39,000 right here, $12 short of the complete amount of money required for phase two. And the school department said that they would go back to their budget, make adjustments so that they could fully fund phase two. And phase two is where the early the staffing is increased to the point where the early release on Wednesday is eliminated, which is one of the goals that the board had set.